Hi, this is the normal Labour Bulletin. I'm sorry I missed last week. It's been a hectic time, and I'm going to tell some really strange stories today. In particular, I'm going to tell you about the new acting commissioner at the UIF and some of the successes we're having there. And then I must tell you a horror story that took place in Port Elizabeth, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. This is Michael Bagram. I'm the Labour spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance. Saturday, the 19th of September 2020, and we're now 6 months into the lockdown. I'm obviously very pleased, like everyone else is pleased, that we are now on lockdown level 1. We should be at 0. We should have had this cancelled months ago, but 6 months has taken its toll and almost destroyed our economy. We know that over 4 million people have been retrenched during this lockdown period. I am daily speaking to people who have been retrenched. I'm daily speaking to people who are trying to claim UIF, and daily speaking to businesses who are wanting to structure their retrenchments. And it looks like the economy is not going to come right, never mind lockdown. It's now going to take a good few years before we start coming right, but at least we're starting to see some semblance of activity. But as we move into almost normality, the situation is still very tense. And as we know, the problems are starting to be experienced in industrial relations. The relationship between employer and employee is very tense. Employers know that they need to go through this retrenchment exercise and almost need to do it because of survival. That we know, and we also know that people have been retrenching right throughout the COVID-19 lockdown. This is not caused by the pandemic, it's caused by the lockdown. And we've got a situation now which has made a very tense situation at work. But just before I go into the nightmare that I need to describe to you, and please, it's sensitive, so for younger viewers, rather don't listen to the story. For people who are animal lovers, you're going to be shocked, but please bear with me through this story. But the first piece of good news is that Marcia Bronkhorst, the acting commissioner of the UIF, who's been appointed whilst Commissioner Marupeng is on suspension on full pay, Marcia Bronkhorst is making things happen. I have to do a shout out to her. I have to thank her. I'm extremely pleased with the way she is getting back to me within 1 hour. Complaints are being sorted out. It's actually unbelievable. So to Marcia Bronkhorst, acting commissioner, who's been with the Department of Employment and Labour for many, many years. I don't want to give away her age, but she is basically some of the brains behind the Department of Employment and Labour, and she is sorting out the UIF. So I'm hoping that by next week it opens up again. I know that it has been extended for payment for October as well, so probably able to be claimed right up until November, but the claim for payment during October. Those that haven't been paid have been writing to me, and I've been bombarding Commissioner Bronkhorst with emails and with all the back complaints that I've had over 6 months. We're trying to calculate in my office, it's almost 10,000 emails. So thank you to Commissioner Bronkhorst and to her senior right-hand man, Mr. Gladler. Thank you to him as well. He's getting back to me all the time. They've now also sent me a list of names and phone numbers of people in the various regions so I can get hold of them. Obviously, I can't hand these names and phone numbers out, but I am getting joy out of it. So thank you to at least the acting Commissioner Bronkhorst. And I blame the minister for not sorting this out 6 months ago. And I really do blame him. He must fall on his own sword, and he should really resign. It's created too much havoc and sorrow. Now, where he has created a lot of havoc and sorrow is the situation where the minister has been publicly saying that most of the payments have been made to employers and that employers haven't been paying it over to the employees. Now, that's a statement that he's made that has created absolute nightmares. And I'll tell you the one story that I need to tell, and it's very sad. Well, in Port Elizabeth, in the racing fraternity, in the Fairview stabling area, the employees were very upset. They'd gone to the CCMA. They had not received their TERS payment, their emergency payment from the UIF, and they were angry, and probably rightly so. And of course, they were listening to the minister and seeing reports that the employers weren't handing over the money to them, and they imagined that the employer held on to the monies and wasn't paying it to them. Not entirely true. In fact, in this case, I don't believe it was true at all. So what did they do? They attacked the horses. Yes, they attacked the horses in the stabling area. They killed one, they stabbed one, they have traumatized a whole bunch of horses. And in fact, they even tried to attack one of the female senior employees with the employer. There was a threat of gender-based violence. They then went on strike, and obviously the employers tried to dismiss and did dismiss some of those employees who attacked the horses. I mean, the mind boggles to think about that. You think that first of all your employer didn't pay over your UIF money, so what do? You're going to attack the animals. I mean, that's animal-like behavior by a stretch of anyone's imagination. I must admit, when I read that, I had to stop reading because it got a little bit too graphic for me. The bottom line is, those employees then got dismissed. Others then decided to go on strike and cause more havoc. I mean, it's created a situation of a complete breakdown of trust between the employer and employee. And it looks like now dozens of employees are going to lose their jobs after disciplinary hearings, and all because they believed that the monies from the TERS had been paid to the employer and not paid to them. Now, someone's got to take the blame. I blame the department. I blame the minister. I blame them because this was a situation which was going reasonably well. Yes, we had the lockdown, and yes, people were suffering. People weren't getting their money. But at least there was still a relationship. At least there'll be a job to go back to. But for those many that went on strike, that attacked the animals, attacked the horses, they got no job to go back to. Whose fault is that? Yes, a lot of people are going to say that the employees shouldn't have behaved like animals themselves. They should have behaved themselves. They should have gone to the CCMA, used the normal routes, but to go and attack animals, it's unbelievable. So I am blaming the minister, I'm blaming the department. I'm saying they need to come out, they need to do a full investigation, and they need to ensure that this does not happen again at any other employer. People are losing their jobs because of the external inefficiency of the Department of Employment and Labour. I'm hoping that the acting commissioner will step in, have a proper investigation with the Auditor General, and will make things right, and that we can avoid this in the future. The Democratic Alliance was sickened at this event, at a real problem. It shouldn't have happened. It mustn't happen again. And if anything, we're all animal lovers. South Africans are animal lovers. We don't want this to happen ever again. So thank you for listening to me. It's Michael Bagram, the Labour spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance. Thank you very much.